Thank you, Aggies, for joining. As you are joining, we want to hear your feedback. So take a moment to scan the QR code that is presented on the screen and give us your feedback.
Are you ready for a new school year? At North Carolina A&T, we're hyped. This place is blowing up like no other school in the United States. If you don't know A&T, you came to the right place. We're about to put you on to the top 10 reasons why A&T is fire.
Number 10, we're America's most affordable doctoral research university for the third straight year. That's not just our opinion. Editors of Money Magazine's Best Colleges 2025 recognize us for our competitive pricing and excellent return on investment.
Number 9, we're a research powerhouse. A&T researchers earned $350 million in research funding over the past 3 years. Our students play a big role in those projects. That makes their education even more valuable.
Number 8, Aggie alumni are everywhere. From Silicon Valley to Wall Street to Hollywood, 80,000 Aggie alumni are excelling. That's your network.
Number 7, our career fairs are hands down number 1. The best businesses, government agencies, organizations, and schools compete just to get into our fairs. Many students graduate with multiple job offers in hand. We're moving the career fair to the First Horizon Coliseum this fall just to meet the demand. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Number 6, A&T is cutting edge. Have your meals delivered to you by robots, use biometric face scans to pay for your purchases, and benefits from virtual counseling and advising assistance available 24/7, 7 days a week.
Number 5, our student residences are shining. We poured $30 million into residence hall upgrades over the past year. We are about to finish construction on our new 5-story, 405-bed residence complex with dining and shopping this school year, and then turn our attention to building a huge new recreation district on the northwest side of campus.
Number 4, we graduate more African American students than any university in America. More Black STEM grads, engineers, agricultural scientists, communication professionals, and liberal art majors than anyone. And our diverse environment features thousands of students from other racial and ethnic backgrounds from across the country and around the world.
Number 3, the greatest homecoming on earth. I mean, come on. Last fall, more than 130,000 alumni, students, and others who love it here in Aggieland attended GHO events from coronation to the pep rally to the big game. Imagine what it will be like this fall. It's up.
Number 2, new degrees in artificial intelligence and aeronautical and astronautical engineering launched this fall. Our Bachelor's of Science in AI is the only one in North Carolina, and our aeronautical engineering degree leads to a mass career opportunities in the Piedmont Tri's aviation industry. And guess what else is about to go live? Our master's degree in physician assistant studies. You can become a PA at A&T.
Number 1, we expect to be America's largest HBCU once again this fall. More than 51,000 students around the world applied to A&T this year. Congratulations. You're among the lucky 6% who can call A&T a home.
We could go on, but you're just going to have to find out the rest of what makes this place so special on your own. Trust me.
It's always a great day to be an Aggie, and you will hear soon from Chancellor Martin more about what is happening in Aggie land. Good evening, Aggies. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to our Fall 2025 Virtual Alumni Town Hall. I am Crystal Boyce, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as Associate Vice Chancellor for Alumni Relations at the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. I'm a proud two-time alumna, and I am so honored and privileged to represent the greatest alumni on earth. You know, at North Carolina A&T, we want you to stay connected and committed to A&T's global footprint. Connection, collaboration, and commitment is what we're all about. So you'll hear some updates, but we want you to serve. We know Aggies give back in many, many ways, and you'll hear a couple of call to actions today. So stay tuned to learn more about what's coming and how you can be even more connected to your beloved alma mater. So now I'll turn it to Thomas Stanley, who is a trustee on our Board of Trustees and now the Advisory Council on Alumni Relations Chair. Trustee Stanley, we are elated to have you serve the Advisory Council and the Board of Trustees, a proud Aggie from the class of 1988. Turning it over to you.
All right, all right. Can I get an Aggie Pride?
Aggie Pride.
There you go. Hey, team, I am so honored this year to be named as a Board of Trustee as a kid from Eastern North Carolina in the 252, working in agriculture, 1988 grad. I get to go from graduating from A&T, doing so many things, working with alumni around the country and in the world, given all the cities I've lived in. But what I never imagined was to be a Board of Trustee and to be a Board of Trustee and get to partner, Crystal, with you and all the alumni around the world gives me great honor and pleasure. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting in the work. I'm committed to all my peers, whether you're alumnus just this year or you're alumnus for many decades. I'm committed to being your partner and making sure you feel the energy, the connection, and the love of our wonderful, wonderful university, North Carolina A&T State University. But now I will turn it over to none other than our 13th Chancellor of our beloved institution, Chancellor James Martin. Chancellor, take it away.
Thank you so much, Trustee. It's hard not to feel that infectious energy about what it means to be here at North Carolina A&T, because as I have said, and I will continue to say, this is the best university in this land, the best university, bar none, in this country. And so it's incredible. We're incredibly grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for all of you being here. Let me say before we get started, there was a scan code, and the scan code is going to ask some questions. It's important that we give input because we can't just be connected some of the time. We got to be connected all the time. We're going great places. The state of this university is strong. We're advancing in all areas. As the slide says, we're firing on all cylinders, but we're going to get there faster, have bigger impact, the closer we are in alignment. So that is our mission, is to be not just the most passionate and special alumni base in the country. We need to be the most connected and involved alumni base. So that's one of the calls to action. We need to figure out how to be the most aligned and involved alumni base for the most amazing educational institution that we have. So with that, let's get started. This is a great picture that says everything we're talking about. We've got two students to my left that were from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the extended family. This really is home. You can feel it from the time you step on campus, this great connected relational group of people that we call Aggies. This really is home. This is their center. This is the epicenter of where we're from. You feel it from the time you walk into this place called A&T, and we're going to continue to grow that, provide more resources so more people can experience that connection. Let's go. So I want to give you something that all of you have seen, right? Let's go ahead and get some shout outs to this. This is something really important. 15,275 That's the enrollment numbers that we had from this year. Now, this is symbolic for a number of reasons. It's also historic. It's the largest enrollment we've ever had, but it's the first HBCU in this entire country to exceed an enrollment of 15,000. That's key. It's not just about the numbers, it is also about the quality. We had the highest quality students as measured by high school GPA coming into our school this year in terms of all the traditional measures. But I want us to think about what this means, okay? I want to draw your attention to the two blue lines right below this big number that we're going to be proud of. Let's understand that about 13,300, a little over 13,000 of that number represents undergraduate students. As you know, we are right on the verge of being an R1 university. That means the growth of our graduate program. You saw in the video at the top of the presentation, we've introduced a lot of new graduate programs. So our graduate enrollment at about 2,000, that's an all-time high. We grew significantly in our graduate enrollment just in the last year. The number of PhD students this year or the last year, we grew by 23% just in that number. That number alone, with the new programs we have, is going to continue to grow. If we do nothing else, that's going to get up to about 35% of the graduate population size, of the undergraduate population size. In other words, right now, the 2,000 graduate students that's shown here, that represents a size of about 15% of our undergraduate population. Most R1 public universities have a graduate population size of about 35% of the undergraduate student size. So for us, if we were as a mature research university, if we were to look at our size, it would be closer to 4,600 once we reach R1 maturity with all of these full big new programs that we've introduced. That means that we need to think of this, if we did nothing else, just with the graduate growth, it would be closer to about 17,800, closer to 18,000. So now we really need to think about what that means as an R1 program and this growth in our graduate population and the implications of what that means, the opportunities to have impact, but also the implication it means for infrastructure as well. So go. I want to say that the state of the university is strong. It just shows we had a record graduate enrollment. We're happy that these numbers didn't happen by accident, by the way. We put a lot of focus into what we were doing. We really wanted to see, we're a state university. We wanted to see more students from this state. We put a lot of focus on recruitment from the state. So our enrollment of North Carolina students were up by 9.3%. We talked about our doctoral enrollments. What I want to draw your attention to is what was said in the video. The number one thing, the first thing that was said, we are still, for the third consecutive year, the most affordable research doctoral program in the United States. Okay? Now that's important. That's something to brag about. It means we have one of the best returns on investment. It also means we got to ask ourselves about the value that we're returning. Do we have the right resources to remain where we are? We like the fact that we're the most affordable and we want to keep that. I like to look at it in terms of return on investment. So we're looking closely at what the resources need to be to stay where we are there. One of the things that we need to celebrate this year is we have 100% occupancy in our residence hall. When I got here last year, one of the first things that we heard a lot, I did a lot of listening, it was about the importance of making sure that we have the best possible student experience. And that's something that we never perfect. We want to always have the best possible student experience, but I heard loud and clear, we need to have our game together with housing. We need to provide better student experience, better conditions in the dorms. We need to have a smoother move-in process. We put together $30 million this year to really focus on some of those older dorms like Barbie and Alex Haley Hall to make sure that, we replaced 1,500 HVAC units, replaced shower heads, new ventilation fans to make sure that we would have good ventilation. We didn't have mold in the room. We changed the contractor that we used for inspection. Put a lot of focus in that to improve the student experience. Is it perfect? No, but it's a heck of a lot better. And we had a really much more refined and efficient move-in experience this year. Okay. Let's go. Also, we will have some new infrastructure coming on Blueford Hall, right across from Harrison Hall, across the street. That's going to come online and give us 400 additional units. We thought that was going to be ready by the spring, early 2026. It looks like it'll be ready for fall 26. The Resurgent is a mixed-use office and healthcare building that will go online just after the first of the year. That's down the street on Market, not too far from Dowdy Hall. We'll have an urban food complex down at the University Farm. We'll be able to have ice cream that we make from the farm. And some other good news is that we recently received permission to expand our farm. There are some plots of land that were made available that are connected to our farm, adjacent to our farm. And so we were able to expand our farm into the community because agriculture is a bread and butter too. And we were able to purchase 18 additional acres adjacent to, at least get permission to purchase those adjacent to our farm. Let's go. We also said we've had a lot of new degrees. That, look, we were the first university in the state. Now others are following us now, but we were the first university in the state to have a degree in artificial intelligence, the first university in the state. We also have new degrees in aeronautical and astronautical engineering. Those are key areas of development in this country, right on the edge. A new physician's assistance program that'll be starting next month. Last year, we also started a new Doctor of Nursing program. We started a new PhD in criminal justice. The year before that, we had a new PhD program in agriculture. I mean, we're getting it done. These are high demand fields, and we are right on the cutting edge of technology and knowledge that people want. We're growing quite a bit, which means that our population is growing. Now, a lot of you will ask, what am I most proud of? Let's look at this metric, student success. Number one is always student success. So with our graduation rate, this year our graduation rate was 41.2% for 4 years. We want to see that higher, but that's the highest graduation rate we've ever had this year. Our 6-year graduation rate is about 56%. I'd like to see our graduation rate in 6 years over 80%. I'd like our 4-year graduation rate to be over 60%. That's really where we need to be a top flight university like ours. We really need to get those numbers up, which both of those are directly proportional to the amount of unmet student need, which means endowments. So that's where we got to go with this. I am ecstatic to say that this year, let's stop and think about this, folks. The entering class coming into A&T this year had an average high school GPA of 3.7. Actually, it was a little over 3.7. And an average SAT score of 1100. Okay? That's what we have coming in. Our retention rate this year was 81% from freshman to sophomore. The number of students that stayed here got off to a good start. That was purposeful, and it was not by accident because we increased the number of professional advisors. We spent a lot of focus on the student experience and making sure that we have, especially the first 2 years, good professional advising available for our student. The other thing that I want to highlight, our nursing program, which is an amazing program that talks about success in the health science area. 100% of the nurses this winter that took the exam by NCLA LEX, which is the accreditation body, 100% of our nurses passed that exam this year. Okay. Now, in terms of overall national ranking, US News rankings ranked us in the top 40. It was actually about 25, typically historic 25th. In terms of upward social mobility, you have to understand that means that of all the 2,000 programs that are ranked, we're in the upper 1 or 2% of those that create upward social mobility. That is, people coming in, the average starting salary, our social networks relative to when we get out. So we're getting it done. And frankly, these numbers are biased in a way that I think we really are among the top 1 or 2 in the country in terms of upward social mobility. Now, in terms of ranking us as a university, we were ranked number 126 this year. Let's not get too caught up in those numbers. Let me tell you something. We're a top university in this country because they're looking at historical means of looking of programs. They're using formula that have existed for a long time that bias those rankings in a way that allow us to be ranked in a different way than what we actually provide value for. Nonetheless, I would like to see us certainly rank within the top 100 using those conventional methods. And when we get into the top 100, we need to be thinking about being ranked in the top 50 in terms of programs. One of the things that I want to say that's really important here is a measure of affluence. To me, a measure of preeminence is who wants your people, right? Who is lining up to hire your people? So when I came here last year, and it was just after the time the career fairs usually every September, early September, we were turning away about 300 people at the beginning of the career fair in the spring and the summer, the fall and the spring. And so I said, I talked to the team and I said, we really need to leverage the unprecedented demand for the A&T graduates. So what did we do? For the first time in our history, we moved our career fair to the Greensboro Coliseum. This year, we had more than 6,000 students show up and employers. We didn't turn away employers this year. And it's the first time we did it, but it still went well. So we surveyed the employers, we surveyed students. 98.9% had very positive things to say. 93% of those employers said our students were extremely well prepared because our students are going to outcompete any students anywhere. They're resilient, they have grit, they're innovative, they're resourceful, they're leaders. People want our students. That is a measure of preeminence, okay? And so that's incredible. Now, we got to go back. So what I also want to say here, what is so critical for us to understand this represents something that we need to continue to recognize. This was the largest career fair in the state of North Carolina. The largest career fair by a university or college in the state of North Carolina is North Carolina A&T. This is also one of the largest career fairs in the entire East Coast. So we got to understand we have an incredible, uncommon demand for what we are producing. So we need to find a way to leverage that in a higher way and get a better return on investment. But this is a measure of preeminence to me, because people want to hire students more than anybody else, because they know our students are going to outcompete, out-innovate, and out-lead other students. Give them a chance, give them resources, they're going to win that competition every time because it's A&T. Next slide. It's important to say all these new programs that I talked about, it requires leadership. So this year we added 72 new faculty. We're going to continue to have to add faculty. We're not quite right-sized yet, so all of that growth has an investment that's needed on the other end. Just to give you an idea about the employee headcount at North Carolina A&T, when you look at professional staff and faculty, We're around about 2,000 typically, and that number is going to have to increase to address some of this increased load. I want to say something about faculty achievement. We can talk about it in many different ways, but since we've talked a lot about R1 and the importance of R1, R1 means that we get more resources from the state. It means that we have the opportunity to attract different kinds of partners. It means that our stock value goes up. The first one that I told you is really important. R1 institutions get more resources from the state. Our appropriations go up as an R1 institutions. Toward that end, this year we earned about 100 million in research. It was a little over 96 million in research, despite the fact that we lost 25 million in federal funding. So we would have been well over 100 million, and that's well over the criteria that we need for R1. We've secured our fair share of resources. This is what I want to say. We are producing well above R1. We're on trajectory and well above it. As we go through this year, this will represent our third year above R1 performance. So we're in the penultimate year of the 3-year window of producing above R1. So I have no doubt that at this time next year, we'll be compiling data to send in so that we can get officially declared as the process begins as an R1 institution. But that is a given, but we're going to go ahead past that. We've got some incredible talented people, and I point here assistant professor that was newly hired Professor Adiyamo, who just got a National Science Foundation Early Career Development Award, which is one of the most prestigious awards that you can get as a new faculty member. Why do I say this? Because there are 4,000 colleges and universities here. There's in the United States. About 800 to 1,000 of them are involved in submitting proposals to the National Science Foundation. There's no special program for certain category of faculty entering this competition. The folks that win these awards are competing against the best of the best. North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, MIT, Stanford, Berkeley, whatever school you want, Georgia Tech, whatever school you want to name. So I say this, we're competing with the best of the best, any way you want to cut it. Are we a preeminent university? Yes, we are a preeminent university. We have this Center for Regional and Rural Connected Communities. This is a cool project. It just shows that we do research of impact. Many of us drive on country roads through the state of North Carolina or wherever we're from. We hit a lot of animals, especially deer this time of the year. This is a project to use artificial intelligence with sensors in the car to sense animals approaching the drive path to help slow vehicles down. It's a new way of helping driving, similar to autonomous driving technology, driving be safer for people and address a real challenge that many of us have, which is hitting animals on rural highways, especially at night. That saves a lot of lives, absolutely. Kind of work that we're doing. We've had a lot of alumni success, and all of you out there, about 75,000 of you, all of you out there are what makes us who we are. And I want to do more. We want to do more here to learn about all of you. So I just want to highlight a few of you, right? We want to be able to tell this entire story together. So we have, this weekend, we were proud to go down to Atlanta, where our very own Kim Gatling, who's a member of our Board of Trustees, was inducted into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Congratulations to her. We had our own interim provost, Catherine Edmond, class of 92, and Neon Avery, and Cheryl Streeter Harry, class of 77. They were all three honored as 2025 HBCU Living Legends. There was a ceremony held earlier this year. Jason Johnson, class of 97, was recently named 2025 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year. It's from the Deese College of Business and Economics. We're making impacts in all areas of life. We also had Spring Break Watches co-founders, Kwame Molden, class of 09. On the younger end, he's going to be the keynote speaker for the Community Economic Engagement Summit. and our fall convocation, which is coming up. Victor Solomon, class of 2022. Many of you would have seen him as the breakout star on The Voice and then American Idol. He showed out. He will speak and perform at the Economic Summit. Pamela Richardson Wilkes, class of 97 and again 98 for her graduate degree as the president of Clinton College, the HBCU down in South Carolina. So Pamela about 2 weeks ago doing a great job down there. And homecoming's coming up. We're going to have Sybil Lynch, who is an award-winning singer. She is going to be our homecoming parade grand marshal. She's shown there in the picture. She's up in Paterson, New Jersey, and they named a street in her honor. Think about the impact of the Aggies. Right? This is just a small fraction. Want to be able to actually lift up everybody's story, which is important for us to stay connected. Want to tell the story of every one of you. Next. You will hear more about this. Aggies All In, All Aggies All In is a new mini campaign. It was launched last week, chaired by Willie Deese. And we know that we have needs in athletics. We have needs and resources in general. But NIL in particular has changed the landscape in sports. This is a way for us to come together as an entire community to raise money that we need in a fairly immediate fashion. So this goal is to raise at least $1 million per year. And the stretch goal is $3 million per year to free up some of these. Now, this is for annual student scholarships, which then frees up some of the critical funds the institution needs for NIL. So I want to say the money that we're raising goes to help with student athlete scholarships, not directly to NIL. It frees up some of the resources that we as an institution can help to address some of the resource needs, such as NIL. So you're investing directly into students. You'll hear more about it. So I'm happy to say this slide, since the time this slide was here, that says we've already gotten a quarter of our goal. It's actually about a third, because I think the number has already increased to about 330,000, at least somewhere in that range. So just in the last day or so, it's increased quite a bit. And we know Aggies are going to do what they need to do. Let's go past. Let's go past. I want to talk about, back one slide. I want to talk about the importance of the financial soundness of this institution. Really proud of the fact that our credit rating over the last year has increased. Fitch, the organization that does, one of the organizations that determines bond rating, risk tolerance, we were able to upgrade our general debt rating from AA- to AA. That's the best ever credit rating for any HBCU. So we're getting it done in many ways. We need more resources, but we're actually doing it the right way. Now, our endowment is close to $250 million, $247 million. That's great. Our R1 peers, if we look at what that means per student, it means that our endowment is about $16,000 per student. So if you take 247 million divided by our student population, you'll get about $16,000 per student. Our public R1 peers, such as North Carolina State or Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, they all have endowments that would be somewhere around, the funding would be somewhere around $50,000 to $55,000 per student. So our endowment would need to increase by a factor of 3.5 to 4 to be consistent with our R1 peers. So we really need to work on developing big resources for the endowment. And if, as we talk about preeminence, one indicator of that typically is your endowment size. So if we had a magic wand to say, is it one thing that can improve graduation rates, our perception, our ability to do big research, our ability to have impact, a bigger endowment. is the way to do it. One thing is we haven't increased tuition for the last decade, which is great. On the other hand, we haven't developed funds to be able to address some of the needs like housing, which we don't get support from the state to develop housing. We get support from the state to develop academic buildings. So we will be given authority to consider the possibility of increasing tuition this year by as much as 3%. It's the first time in over a decade that we even have the option to do some of that. Next slide. No, next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. I do want to say what's important for us to get to where we need to go, especially from a student quality standpoint, from internships from students, to help us sustain R1, to have diversified resources for research. We can't just look at the federal government. We got to do a better job of connecting with strategic partners in the region. Some of the ones that we haven't talked about too much publicly, but I just want to let you know we are in strategic partnerships. Either we have formed them or we are far down the road in discussing comprehensive strategic partnership. We're not just talking about transactional partnerships. We're talking about deep, long commitment partnerships with high returns on investment. That's what we're talking about. So we're having conversations with Johnson & Johnson, a great new partnership with Toyota. We just signed about 2 months ago, Jet Zero. That is the big jet manufacturer that's coming in. We got a great collaboration with them. Project Kitty Hawk, which is up on the left, that is a nonprofit that serves the University of North Carolina system. That is a group that allows us to really quickly scale up our non-traditional online offerings to reach the rest of the world in terms of courses and certificates and programs that we could be offering to millions of people around the world, especially non-traditional students. So we need to grow in that domain. The Department of Defense, that's a huge opportunity for us. So we've started partnerships with Navy Nuclear Lab. And the one on the upper right, Carnegie Mellon University, we've started conversations with them. We're building a partnership related to artificial intelligence because they are the #1 university in the world for artificial intelligence. They are the ones that developed artificial intelligence. This is where it started. And having spent so much time at the University of Pittsburgh and working with them every day, we are looking at an unprecedented partnership that I'll have hopefully more to say about that in the near future. So let's go on and complete to talk about where we're going for the future. So we can go beyond that. So always our student success is our top priority. So we want more support to improve our graduation rate, consistent with the career fair. We want to do more to have career readiness and job outcomes. Part of the partnerships that we're talking about is we have more internships, more on-the-job training, more connection in industry where we are ready to go and accelerate from day one, okay? We want to have more scholarships, internships. We just talked about those. There are many sources of funding that we need to attract to be able to offset debt for our students so our graduation rates can continue to increase. Our students are going to have more experiential learning opportunities. Again, it's not just about the classroom traditionally on campus. They're going to have to learn it in the environment in which they're going to be doing it professionally. That's why the partnerships are so critical. Again, more professional advising. So we've gone to a model where all of our freshmen and sophomores have professional advisors that can be very consistent, high level of quality. Want to expand that to juniors and seniors. It takes more resources to do that. 2 initiatives that are really important. It's important for us. We were the first university in this state to develop an AI curriculum. A big part of that is develop AI fluency across the entire university, not just STEM, not just engineering, college of science and technology, business, agriculture, the arts. We want everybody, including professional staff, all of you, We want to be fluent in the use of this technology, which is impacting our world. So this is talking about all the ways that we are leading in that area. We launched the first degree. We hired a new cluster of faculty in artificial intelligence. We just hosted an AI conference last week in the region that many university members from across the state attended. We're focused on all disciplines. It's really important that we continue to build capacity. We do have our interim CIO, Liz Johnson, who has developed an AI accelerator, which is a great training course for many of our faculty and staff, but we're going to exponentially increase that. Another initiative on the right here, Forever Learning. I won't talk in detail about this, but I want to say it here. You heard it first. Learning, we can't just think of the traditional education between 18 and 22. We want to be providing people educational experiences like college prep before they get here. Provide the traditional experiences when they're here, again, with more experiential learning. But we also want to reach out for the entire lifestyle. We don't want to just engage people for 4 years. We want to engage all of everyone as they go through their careers. So if they want to go back and get training, certificates, a different degree, start a business, learn how to invest, learn who to connect with, pitch an idea to, like Shark Tank. We want to be the place where you come to build your networks, to build your knowledge in any field you want for your entire life, for 60, 70 years. So we call this Forever Learning because we are forever learning. We are lifetime learners. It's not about education as an event, it's about learning for a lifetime. So that's what we're focused on. We're really excited about this. This is, again, a first, and ANT is leading the way. So it's really important too, if we talk about research, we got to build the capacity for our research. We got to continue to make sure we have the right support to do the things we need. We had to add a number of positions in our Department of Research in that unit. Over the last year, we added 15 new positions to be able to meet the demand because we've been undersized, we've not been right-sized there. We're going to continue to see programmatic growth. We just talked about all of these new programs in high demand fields. We're going to continue to do that, but we're not going to stop at when they're 22. We're going to continue to offer learning opportunities to people their entire lifetime. We have to improve our customer service and operations. We have been working on that so hard. That means our business processes, what we're doing to, I just said, the research support. We have to make sure that we build a stronger culture. I know Trustee Stanley talks about it all the time. You can talk about numbers and goals, but until you get people aligned, working together, build a sense of community where people are in it for each other and moving toward one direction with a goal, you won't ever get there and you won't ever stay there until you get people aligned and working together. So we're focusing a lot on creating forward movement, and that means aligning with all of you, because we need the entire Aggie Nation aligned, connected, together, and moving in one direction. That's part of the call to action. We're also, let's go back. I also wanted to draw your attention to the left side of this photo about how we're making impact in the community. This is a picture of Tiffany Morris in our nursing program, which is this incredible jewel that we have. She's standing beside a mobile unit. We have 2 mobile units where our nurses, our nursing students are able to go out into communities in some of the counties around, especially in rural areas where they don't have good healthcare access. They take these mobile units out into communities across North Carolina and provide mobile healthcare to communities where most of the folks out there would have no access to it. Now, our students get the benefit of being able to work with real life patients. And on the other hand, citizens out there are benefiting from healthcare access when otherwise they wouldn't have it. Now, that is the essence of what a land grant university does. We make a difference in our community. So I want you to shout this from the rooftops of how this university is making a difference to the lives of people. We don't just measure that by money, we measure it by the quality of life that we're improving for people. This is a great example of why we need to keep building on this A&T brand, because we're getting it done in a significant way. We're going to continue to do these kinds of things. And lastly, I'll say, remember, we need to get the word out for all this good stuff. And I've called on, we got 41 alumni chapters. I've called on 8 of you to help us in the last bullet, which is to amplify our messaging in this program we call Amplify A&T, where when we talk about key outlets and news items, we want you to amplify the messaging to those outlets and those items that we're talking about so that we can increase the amount of coverage, especially positive news. And so we started with the 8 largest chapters because we need to amplify the voices of everyone at A&T. So that's a way that we help control the messaging and get our brand out there, because we're doing so much positive. We hear negative all the time. We're a source of optimism, and we need to get it out there. We need to pull together to get the messaging out there for the rest of the world. Next slide. What we're going to have to do again, we have to have big fundraising, major philanthropy. We're going to have to launch an ambitious strategic campaign. So you're going to hear me talk about that in not too distant future, about a huge campaign that we need. And again, we need our endowment to be multiple times the size of the size that we have now. It's going to require partnership development, which is really important. We talked about that. We got to get our business processes and our technology and infrastructure better, right? Especially our ability to do more digital transactions, our ability to move at faster scale on campus, communicate with you folks in a way that's more savvy, to follow up and steward communications with all you, especially those of you that give. A lot of that has to do with modernizing our infrastructure and being sophisticated and having people in our ranks that are very, very good with that. We're going to have a bigger footprint in these leading areas like AI. Ag, we've got opportunity to grow significantly in ag. $111 billion of revenue is generated in agriculture in the state of North Carolina, and we are one of only 2 land-grant universities. It's us and North Carolina State. Those are the 2 land-grant universities with ag programs. It's our responsibility for that. So we need to have more support so that we can help with that $111 billion revenue. We're going to have more to say about that. So we're going to increase that. More investment in our business programs. We need to have a bigger footprint in health and medicine as well. All of those are areas where we need to be. Last thing I'll say, for regional and global impact, you're going to see a significant expansion in our online capabilities, especially with non-traditional students. Right now, if we look at the last 10 years, we've had approximately 17,000 students that didn't finish their degree over the last 10 years. They stopped out over the last 10 years. So part of that online effort that we were talking about is to reach out to those 17,000 students and engage them so they can get graduated. That's one of the things we want to do. Now, we already have something called Aggies at the Goal Line, which is a smaller version of this. We want to turbocharge this because we want to reach out to all these Aggies. And then we want to create a whole lot of more folks that we don't have in our ranks right now, especially among non-traditional students. We're going to have corporate and academic partnerships. I hadn't talked about some of the academic partnerships beyond places like Carnegie Mellon. I feel that we should have global reach. We have close partnerships with universities on the continent of Africa, especially South Africa. So we are assessing what the impact would be and the return on investment from having footprint in other places and having impact in other places, such as South Africa, but that comes through partnership. But it could be an incredible opportunity for us. We certainly want to make sure that we have the right facilities. I've thought it's about time for us as a university, as active and impactful as we are in this community, to have a conference facility and a hotel. I really think it's time for us to figure out ways to do that, and especially ways that don't really impact our ability to meet the other needs we have on campus. There are ways to do that in strategic financial partnerships that we can make to actually be able to develop the resources consistent with the university at our statute. Okay, one more, the last one. Okay, so what I'll end on is this. All of what I just said, there are key strategic considerations. I've been here about 13 and a half months. These are the things that we really are focused on. That is to define and strengthen and communicate what our value proposition is. What is it that we as a university, North Carolina A&T, what is it that we do that is our calling card, that is unique among others? Now, I have a good feeling it has to do a lot with our return on investment. But we need to say, what is it that we do that is unique, right? Not necessarily that we're talking about why students come here. What value are we providing that's unique that we can tell the rest of the world? We also need to make sure we understand, as we're talking about our reputational aspirations, whether we're a top 100 or a top 50 university, what that means, because it has implications about the size of the university, how much research you do, how much endowment you have, professional schools. All those things have been traditionally factors in these types of rankings, right? But certainly we need to be in the top 100, maybe the top 50. We just have to understand what the implications are. We need to leverage the size and scale of our university. That is, what is our ultimate capacity? I feel that we actually have a bit more capacity, even though that 15,275 number is stretching us a little bit. We have some efficiencies in the system that we need to take more advantage of, but we need to throw our weight around a little bit too. And we need to make sure that we understand the implications of growing our research program and what the ultimate size of our university is going to be. But look at the outsized influence we have, the impact we have in this region for homecoming alone. Right? We know we have over $2.4 billion impact economically. That's an old number, by the way. It was before Boom Supersonic and Toyota. That number is much bigger across the state. But here in our region, we have an incredible impact in the area. And I feel that we need to get more in return than we're getting right now for the impact we create. So that's what part of understanding what is the size and scale of our university is. To do that, we're going to have to make sure we have the best possible customer service. So optimize operations and service, business practices, IT. We got to right size, make sure we're doing all of that the right way. We got to assess and elevate reputation, which means we got to figure out what it is that's important to us. Is it increasing access, or do we limit our enrollment at some point and start to be more selective? Or is it a right balance, right? I've thought about these, and this is where we are in our decision-making process. We got to figure that out. The last thing that I want to say, it's the most important. It's about staying power. It's about building a strong foundation. We got to build that long-term capacity. So we got to strengthen those core processes. We got to get people with the knowledge and the connections and develop the ones that are here, but we got some other folks that we want to bring in with new knowledge and connections to allow us to do some things we haven't done before, which means we got to look at strategic hiring of people with the right experience to help us in areas if we want to develop in new areas. We need to right size our faculty and our staff. We're undersized, right? But we got to be more efficient and look at, well, are we oversized in some areas? But we definitely are undersized right now. And lastly, we want to get the word out. We need to be more sophisticated in how we talk about our university. So we got to have PR and marketing supercharged. We got to get the word out in an incredible way, and our ability to secure transformative resources, whether it's research or endowment. We're talking about being able to go out and get major transformative gifts, such as, and resources such as, if it's research, it might be Department of Defense. If it's from a philanthropic standpoint, it means we really have to be much more in the game of resources from foundations. We got to understand that game. We got to learn to understand how to generate big resources from foundations. And that's where we got to go. We got to get to where we got to get. We're not going to do it all on the back of alumni. We got to get the major foundations. So it means we got to be in New York and Boston and DC and Texas. We got to be out in California. We got to be out places where these big foundations are, because there's no better story and nothing more compelling and more value offered. And there's no better timing for a lot of these foundations. We want to invest in something as critical and as life-changing as North Carolina A&T. We just got to get there and do it, and that's where we're headed.
Chancellor, thanks a million. What a great presentation for us to start off with. I think everybody on the Zoom has learned a lot tonight. We're a little behind schedule, guys, so we're going to go quickly through two more presentations. The first of those is going to be about homecoming updates as well as homecoming safety. And to start that, I've got the pleasure of introducing our brand new Chief of Police, Robert A. Hassel, PhD, who will be followed back by Crystal Boyce to give you more of a complete look at what's happening at homecoming. Chief, let's go to you first.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons, and good evening to all of our alumni across this great country. It's my pleasure to give you a high-level overview of our safety preparation as it relates to our homecoming. But first, I think Ms. Crystal have a video she'd like to show. Greetings, Aggies. We are thrilled to soon welcome you to North Carolina A&T State University's homecoming celebration, affectionately known as the greatest homecoming on earth. As we gather to celebrate our school's pride and community, it's crucial that we prioritize safety for all our students, alumni, and guests. The university will host several events, both on and off campus, during the week. Today, we'll go over some important safety guidelines to ensure that everyone has a fantastic and secure homecoming experience. On homecoming day, our Aggies will arrive for an exciting football game, along with other events that will bring an estimated crowd of more than 70,000 people. Here is what to expect: a significant amount of road closures on and around the university, a significant number of patrons and visitors on foot frequenting to a stadium, the core university campus, and adjacent streets surrounding the university. Increased security and police presence on campus and throughout the area to facilitate a safe environment for all patrons. Be prepared for security checks at events. Cooperate with security personnel and follow their instructions. Here are some additional safety tips. Stay hydrated. It's essential to stay hydrated throughout the day, especially if it's warm. Drink plenty of water and avoid excessive alcohol consumption. The legal age limit for alcohol possession and consumption is 21. Walk in groups and in well-lit areas when moving about at night. Refrain from carrying large amounts of cash on your person. Do not flash your money. Be aware of individuals attempting to lure you into playing three-card Monte. This is a game of chance designed to separate you from your money. You cannot win. Avoid attending unsanctioned university events as they often lack appropriate security measures. Download the Aggie Safe app, which you can download through Safe Zone for North Carolina A&T State University to assist you with your personal safety. Use blue light emergency phones on campus as needed. Call the University Police Department for assistance at 336-334-5600. 7675 or call 911 in case of any emergencies. Buddy system. Use the buddy system. Stay with friends and make sure you know where they are at all times. Keep emergency contact information handy and make sure your phone is charged. Parking. If you drive, park only in designated areas and follow parking regulations. Avoid leaving valuables in your car. Pedestrian safety. Always use crosswalks and be cautious when walking near roadways. Know your surroundings. Familiarize yourself with the area and emergency exits. Stay alert. Keep an eye out for any suspicious activity and report it to security or law enforcement. If you see something, say something. Aggies, by following these safety guidelines, we can ensure that homecoming will be a memorable and safe experience for everyone. Let's take care of ourselves and each other as we celebrate our Aggie pride. Have a fantastic homecoming, and remember that safety will always be our top priority. See you soon.
Thank you for showing that, Miss Boyce. I hope everyone enjoyed it just as much as it was me making that video with many of our students here on campus. These are 4 of our top priorities that help guide the decisions as we make these plans to ensure that you homecoming for 2025. 1, safety and security, technology and innovation, collaboration, and communication. When we talk about safety and security, we're talking about making sure we have a very visible presence here on campus, ensuring that we increase that presence where it needs to be, in those locations where we see larger crowds of individuals, and ensuring that we and all of our law enforcement partners can respond quickly to any situation that may occur. Layering all of our plans with technology and innovation. We use it as a force multiplier. Ensure that we have real-time monitoring of everything that's going on our campus, and everything is led with intelligent type technology that we have deployed to ensure that all of you, our alumni, and our students and visitors enjoy all of the festivities here on campus. Collaboration is very important, is one of our key priorities, making sure that we not only communicate with our law enforcement partners, but all of our internal partners here on campus, from facilities to our electricians and engineers, making sure we all collaborate to make sure every event is going to be safe for each of you that will be attending. And then clear communication, clear messaging, safety PSAs like you just saw, and student engagement campaigns that will be going throughout this week and next week until homecoming. Next slide. Of course, we know homecoming is more than just Saturday, game day, parade. It's a week-long starting on October the 5th. Each activity builds on that excitement of homecoming, all the way up until Saturday. No event is given less attention on safety. Every event, we take safety as our #1 priority. So we create specific safety plans for every event that goes on here on this campus to ensure that it goes without a hitch and that safety is put to the very forefront so everyone can enjoy those activities that they will be attending. Next slide. Of course, game day is one of our busiest and our most complex day that we have to oversee and ensure safety for all of you and those who will be coming here on campus. So just a few highlights here. At the stadium, we work with athletics and all of our other partners to ensure that we have all of our lines open, ensuring that we have enough screeners to be able to get you through those lines and into that stadium so you can enjoy the wonderful homecoming game. We have a series of checks with our bomb dogs, explosive dogs, gun dogs will run through the stadium to ensure that it's safe. There's no dangers that may be in the stadium that may be unseen to the naked eye. But so those checks will be randomly done throughout the whole game and around the stadium as the day progresses. We'll have partnerships with Greensboro, the Highway Patrol, to ensure that traffic is managed and controlled. Because of course, when you have over 50 to 60, 70,000 people here on campus, they're coming by vehicle, they're coming on foot. So that's a lot of traffic, a lot of pedestrians to manage. So our partnerships with Greensboro, the Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol will make sure that everyone's able to get here to campus safely, and while you're here on campus, that everyone will be protected. There will be a number of barricades and officers spread throughout those routes and on campus with a high level of visibility to ensure that each of you will see a law enforcement officer in case you have questions about where to go, where activity may be covered. You will have them to direct you in the right direction. And you will see more officers, more staff, and typically the more locations that you will see more people, like the Greek plots, the student center. We'll be there monitoring and showing that if there's anything that will disrupt our festival or our homecoming, we'll make sure we deal with that appropriately. Next slide. Here are some other safety preparations. Homecoming and our planning does not start today. It did not start yesterday. It started months ago. Those are meetings that we've been having weekly and even some meetings daily to ensure that we're coordinating all of our safety plans and strategies to make sure homecoming is safe for each of you that will be here. As I said earlier, there will be specific plans for every event that be held throughout that whole week. There will be increased patrols, officer presence throughout all of campus, especially of our high attended events on campus. Crowd management strategy will be put in place for all of the high attended activities like the parade, the stadium, and other events around the plots. And then, of course, we won't forget we're coordinating with our residence life staff to ensure that we make sure all of our students who live here on campus and around campus are safe and protected. This is more important. We are making sure we layer our safety plan with a lot of technology. We have our real-time intelligence center, which will be up and running on throughout that week, and especially on game day, monitoring all 1,000 cameras that we have throughout this campus, so that if we see something, we can send our officers there quickly. All officers this year will be tracked GPS-wise, so that when we can direct officers as we see areas that need more attention, we can direct them when incidents do occur. We will making sure with the stuff that's going on around our country, we will have our intelligence officers staying in contact with our intelligence center out of Raleigh with the SBI to ensure that if we have any information, we can direct and make changes to our plan accordingly to make sure there is nothing that's going to bring any threats here on our campus. Next slide. As we did last year, we will ensure that every one of you will have the opportunity to be able to subscribe to Aggie Alerts. That should be coming out in the next couple of days, so be looking for more information to subscribe. Last year, we had over 30,000, almost 40,000 of you who signed up for those Aggie Alerts. That is very important. So when we want to push out those safety alert and messages, you will get that firsthand and quickly, so you know exactly what you need to do. You will see a series of social media campaigns talking about safety tips, as you saw in that video, like in PSAs. And then we're doing a lot of safety engagement with our student leaders and other student organizations here on campus to ensure that they know what those safety tips are so they can have an enjoyable homecoming alongside of each of you. Next slide. Here are just some metrics. We're going to have nearly 250 officers, our partners with UPD and our surrounding area over here to make sure that they keep homecoming safe and memorable. That's over 15 other agencies. I already mentioned 1,000 cameras that we will be monitoring throughout the whole week and up to game day. And then, of course, I already mentioned about our community outreach PSAs that will reach over 50,000 students and alum across this great country. Next slide. And then my commitment to each of you through preparedness and technology, partnerships and proactive outreach, we are committed to delivering a safe, memorable, and celebrated 2025 homecoming. Sorry if I went through that a little quickly, but we wanted to make sure we are respectful of your time.
Thanks so much, Chief. I feel safe on campus every day, and homecoming is no different. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready for the greatest homecoming on earth. And I know many of you all are as well, and we look forward to welcoming you. Homecoming starts in 5 days with coordination. So like to share our homecoming image for 2025. We are proud to celebrate and feature Mr. and Miss A&T, Mariah Crouch, and Miles Norwood, and SGA President Corey Smith as our feature image for the 99th homecoming. Also, if you have not been to our website, www.ncat.edu/homecoming, you can get all updates about alumni events, student events, and your game day ready information. So please visit our website for information about events and updates. This is a highlight of some of our events, that the official events that we plan here at the university. We want you to be healthy during homecoming and fit. So we have some fitness opportunities that you can sign up for. We have our Chancellor Circle donors reception as well as the Top of the Tea donors reception. We have the official reunion at homecoming celebration on Saturday night and our Aggie Alumni Homecoming concert featuring Eric Benet and Shantae Moore. Just a few of the events. All the rest are listed on our website. And Homecoming Week Ready Guide. This is on the Homecoming website, but you can scan the screen. You can get updated information about parking and shuttles and tailgate setup times, stadium entry. There is no official university curfew. However, the Greek plot area will close an hour early. And there will be a new location for rideshare pickup and drop off. So download the Homecoming Ready app or visit the website so you can get all that updated information real time. We are proud. You heard Chancellor mention that Sybil is our Grand Marshal for this year. Don't make me over. We are proud of her accomplishments. And as a former Miss A&T, we look forward to celebrating with her. She served our university and still gives back to the university. Last year, we started inviting Aggie centenarians. We are blessed to have Aggies living well into the hundreds, 90s and 100s. And we have two Aggie centenarians who will be our honorary grand marshals this year. Beatrice Bailey Hill, two-time alumna, class of 1946. She made history as Harnett County's first African-American and female to serve as county commissioner. And then Mr. William Lawson, class of 1946, was a lifelong educator and civic leader from Kinston, North Carolina. So we look forward to celebrating with them. Also, we will still offer our homecoming game day shuttle. So if you don't want to drive on campus, you can take the shuttle from the Sheraton, the Galen Depot, or the Church Street deck downtown. Again, parking for homecoming, parking passes for homecoming go on sale tomorrow. Thank you so much. We're always doing and never done.
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal. We're going to breeze right on to our next presenters here. First, coming up with a report from athletics is our Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Earl Hilton. Earl, take it away.
Good evening, Todd. Good evening, everyone. We are going to move quickly through this. Go to the next slide, please. As the Chancellor mentioned, I'm going to try to set the context around our All Aggies All In campaign. Next slide, please. This is a function, the All Aggies All In campaign is a function of the House settlement, which was reached earlier this spring. Essentially for us, next slide, please. What the House settlement does is allow for direct pay for the licensing of name, image, and likeness for our student athletes. So we used to be able to do indirect pay through collectives. Now we can have direct pay from A&T to our student athletes. We can license their name, image, and likeness. Please, next slide. All right, this is a look at different Division I classifications. The Power 5, really the Power 4, this is their overall average budget for the public, median budget for the public schools in the Power 4. Other FBS, so that would be your App State, your Charlotte, your ECUs. The FCS, moving left to right, would be us, would be Charlotte. No, it would be Central, would be Western Carolina. And then your non-football Division I, that's your UNC Greensboro and UNC Williamson. Next, go through the next couple of slides, please. Okay, so go back one. All right, so this is those same budgets broken out by revenue category. If we move to the fourth one, the A&T, our budget, notice that we are heavily reliant on student activity fees. Student activity fees for athletics comprise almost 60% of our budget, 58% of our budget. If you move up that row, you'll notice that the teal line is ticket sales. We do very well in ticket sales. Conference distribution is very good. Guarantees, those are the games we play where we get paid. And then the next one up at green is our donations that we receive from donors. So I want to spend just a second talking about donations, our alumni donations. I'll have a few minutes of real talk. Next slide, please. There are two graphs on this chart. It's very small print. So we're going to try to, this work through this quickly. Start on the left-hand side, annual athletics donations. This is in millions of dollars. The green bars represent our HBCU peers. The blue bars represent our CAA peers. And of course, you can see the gold bar is A&T. So what you see is that we are middle to bottom in this group, this comparison of annual athletics donations made to athletics, specifically about $1 million for us. There are 5 HBCUs above us that receive more in real dollars for athletics from their donors. FAMU doubles us in terms of what they receive in donations from their alumni and other friends to support athletics. Move to the right-hand side, we have alumni giving rates. Now, this is the percentage of alumni who give back to athletics. Again, the same metrics apply. Green bars are our HBCU peers, blue bars are CAA peers, and then you see us as the gold. A healthy giving rate is somewhere between 5 and 10%. Anything above 10% is considered robust. We are about 2.3%. Now, I am certain that the people I'm talking to tonight are part of that 2.3%. I'm certain that you are part of the group that supports us in our efforts to support our student athletes. But we must, through this All Aggies, All In Giving campaign, triple that amount. We need to get to about 7.5%. You'll notice that we have 8 HBCUs ahead of us in terms of giving percentages. Alumni who give back to support athletics at their alma maters. We have to change that narrative. This is the time to do it with the opportunity support. Let's go 2 slides forward. The chancellor talked about how we are going to increase revenue to support scholarships, which will free up other dollars to help us in the NIL space. So again, looking at the left-hand side revenue, this is our budget, 24-25. Those 3 categories that I've circled with the red circle there, those are guarantees, donor dollars, and ticket sales. And you follow the blue arrow over to the expense side, and I've circled the scholarship amount of our expenses. So moving to the top right-hand side of this, we made $681,000 in guarantees last year. We used all of that to support our $3.3 million in scholarships. AAF gave us $750,000 last year. We used all of that to support our scholarships. We had a little over $2 million in ticket sales last year. We used 93% of that to finish off the scholarship of 3.3. That left about $135,000 for us to use in other places in athletics. Now, this year, we're going to assume all the other values stay the same. $681,000 in guarantees would all go to scholarships. AAF, if their donation goes from $750,000 to $1.5 million, that will all go to scholarships. And then ticket sales of over $2 million, only 45% of that would be needed to finish the scholarship amounts for our student athletes, leaving $1.1 million for us to use in other ways in athletics. We would use a portion of that to support the name, image, and likeness activities of our student athletes so that we can recruit and especially retain the student athletes that we need to be competitive academically and athletically in the CAA and with our HBCU peers. That is my presentation.
Earl, thanks very much. It's very difficult to understand the rapidly changing nature of college sports these days from a financial standpoint, but thanks for making it clear in a very fast fashion. Our last presenter tonight is our interim vice chancellor for university advancement, Dr. Catherine Edmonds. Catherine?
Thank you, Todd. Good evening, Aggies. It's always great to be in the company of fellow Aggies. As shared, I'm Dr. Catherine Edmonds, Provost and Interim Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. It is my hope that many of you have seen the film, Our Blues Make Us Gold. Our Blues Make Us Gold is more than a film. It's a living testament to the heart, history, and hope of North Carolina A&T and every HBCU. For us, it is legacy building, capturing our triumphs, challenges, and unshakable spirit as the nation's largest HBCU. For all HBCUs, it stands as a shared resource that preserves and celebrates our impact on culture, education, and progress. This is our story told by us, for us, and for generations to come. We will now share the trailer with you of Our Blues Make Us Gold.
You know, we should guard our best. We should want our children. I don't think a HBCU should be a choice. Of course, we can make our own personal choices, but that's all I think we should think about.
And we are asking that each of you will please use the QR code to view Our Blues Makers Goal, share it, and leave a review. We want to make sure that we show Amazon Prime that Our Blues Makers Gold is a film and should be viewed by all and should stay on that platform for years to come. For this slide, Chancellor has shared with you about our endowment. Currently, with our $228 million endowment, we sit at about 16,000 per student. The Chancellor's vision is to grow that to $1 billion. At that level, we would have more than $50,000 per student, placing us right in line with other leading R1 institutions. This isn't just about numbers. It's about ensuring our students have the same resources, opportunities, and competitive edge as their peers across the state and the nation. And here's where you come in. Your partnership, your advocacy, and your investment will make this vision possible. Together, we can transform A&T's trajectory, not just for today's Aggies, but for generations to come.
Thank you very much for Dr. Edmonds. We're going to move right on into questions now, guys. I'm sorry, am I talking over the last part of your presentation?
Well, I did want to go to the slide that talks about the
Sorry, don't
NBA.
let me interrupt. Please go ahead. Yes.
Sure. I will make it quick. I want to go to the slide that speaks to the NBA All-Star HBCU Classic. This will be held in February 2026. This is a tremendous opportunity to showcase Aggie pride and the strength of HBCUs before a global audience. Aggies in LA, we're asking that you join us. And to make it a success, we'll need alumni volunteers to step up and represent A&T with the energy and excellence we are known for. Mark your calendars. This is our time to shine. We are going to turn LA blue and gold. And one more slide, Todd, and I will be done. If we can go to the next slide, please. So on this slide, of course, we have our homecoming giving challenge where we're asking Aggies, when we have the greatest homecoming on earth, we want it to be the greatest time that Aggies give on earth. And so we're asking that while you're in the stadium, that you will please give to your alma mater. And also, you've heard about all Aggies, all in. Get in where you fit in. If you contribute to this campaign, it does go toward and adds to our homecoming challenge. But what we want you to know about all Aggies, all in, get in where you fit in. And it's not about how much you give, it's about how many Aggies step forward. Every gift at every level of participation strengthens our university, fuels student success, and shows the true power of Aggie pride. We want to hit our goal of an additional $1 million per year for all Aggies all in, get in where you fit in, our stretch goal of 1.8 million per year, and our super stretch goal of 3 million per year. So we're trying to build a culture of giving back to the university. So if our students will give and our alumni will give, we want it to be a time where all Aggies, where we show what Aggie pride is all about. So all Aggies, all in, get in where you fit in. Thank you, Todd.
Spoken like a true Aggie. Thank you, Dr. Edmonds. We appreciate you and sorry for interrupting you. I'm mortified by that. But let's move into the Q&A, guys. You had so many good questions this town hall in particular. So for the first one, let's stick with Dr. Edmonds and also with Chancellor Martin. I'd like to hear from both of you on this. We had 17 different questioners ask some variation on what is the status of our R1 journey.
So our status of R1 journey, there are two components. We're exceeding it, put it that way. The rules require that we exceed it for 3 consecutive years. So we're in the 3rd year of exceeding criteria. There are two components. One is the amount of research expenditures, how much money we spend on research. And we're at about $90 million a year, which is almost twice what the requirement is. The other, which is the more challenging requirement, is the number of PhD students that you produce per year. And that number is typically 70 students in one academic year. We're exceeding all those criteria. So the recent rules require you to exceed those for 3 years. And once you exceed those we take those assessments every 4 years. So they take a 3-year window. And so we're in the 3rd year. So the data they will use will be at the end of the academic summer of 2026. And then they'll use the data for the last 3 years for assessment. And we will be an R1 institution, of which, of the 4,000 universities and colleges in this country, 2.4% are only in the R1 category. So that's 2.4% is all that's in the upper category of universities and colleges.
Dr. Edmonds, would you care to add anything?
I think Chancellor has said it all. And once we achieve R1 status, we are in the position to sustain it.
And we will be the first public HBCU to achieve that status. So definitely another major point of pride for North Carolina A&T. For our next question, let's go to student affairs and another new face in leadership here, Vice Chancellor Christopher Catching. Christopher, I believe you're on with us here. And the question that we're posing to you is someone looking into the future and saying that A&T could have 20,000 students 10 years from now. Certainly very possible for that. So what are we doing to ensure that student support services keep up with that ever-growing population?
Thank you for the question, Todd. So, well, for starters, we are ensuring that our current infrastructure meets the needs of our current students. So we house over 6,000 students in our residence halls. Chancellor mentioned in his early remarks about the significant work that we've done to ensure the saliency of our existing housing, with significant investments in infrastructure to ensure that our current housing is meeting students' needs while also studying the future needs for housing for students as we continue to grow, so that we are prepared as the institution continues to grow. We have a new residence hall that we expect to come online next fall. Bluford Hall is one of those things. So we are investing in our current resources, and we are preparing and analyzing the needs for students moving into the future. That includes our full service health center. Many of folks don't know that we have a full service health clinic that includes a pharmacy. It includes labs. It includes all of the resources that students need here on campus. We had about 2,500 visits in total between all of the health services and the counseling services that we provide for our students. So we are meeting students' current needs and also preparing for the continued growth. And that number went up 17% point in time from last year to this year. So we know that more and more students are coming to A&T, and we are preparing to serve them. We also are continuing to provide significant programming for our students as well. That contributes to supporting their success academically and their success once they graduate. So we provide 150 clubs and organizations and have a student engagement rate of about 65% of our students who have attended at least one program or event on campus. So that will continue to grow. There's a significant demand for the Aggie experience for our students, and we want to continue to invest in some of the supportive resources for our students, including food and basic needs resources. So we have a significant proportion of our students who experience housing insecurity and food insecurity. We have our Aggie Source as a main component of resources on our campus that serve students' basic needs. But we know we're going to continue to have to scale up to meet the future demand for our students, and that's what we're currently doing right now, is preparing for that growth.
And of course, we're experiencing some strong success in improving services. Just a year ago at this point, we were only capturing about 1/3 of the phone traffic that came into the Office of Financial Aid. Now we have that number up to 97% of those calls are being answered live by financial aid staff and allowing us to give people the service they need on an expedited basis. So thank you for all you're doing, Vice Chancellor Catching. We appreciate the answer. Let's go to business and yes.
I want to offer one thing too, just for our audience to understand more about how our university works. It's a great question about housing. I wanted to give just a number for benchmark. For comparison, for public universities like ours, especially our one university, but most public universities, typically the target is to provide about 40% of the undergraduate population with on-campus housing. That's typically where most universities found themselves. And that's where we are more or less. And that's a number just to keep in mind. About 40% of the undergraduate population is housed on campus.
Thank you, Chancellor. Good point. Let's go back to business and finance now for this next question, and particularly Chief Hassel, we'd love to hear from you on this. The question, and this was posed by a number of people, are there concerns over the most recent threats to HBCUs? We've all heard about the bomb threats that a number of campuses experienced earlier this year. And what is the sense of student safety and their feelings about these threats?
That's a very important question, and it's very concerning as we hear about all these threats that are being posed to our HBCUs around the country. We're fortunate that we haven't had one of those threats here at North Carolina A&T, but I feel that the sense I get from my students is that they are aware of what's going on, they are very resilient, and that they are very resolved, and if they see anything that's suspicious or strange, they're reporting it to campus police. But for as the public safety official here on campus as the chief, I am making sure that we are reviewing all of our protocols and handling these type threats when they do occur, making sure that we're ready to respond to those, communicating with our federal partners and our other campuses around this great state, ensuring that we know how they may have handled certain situations and making sure that we're able to validate if these threats are credible, and then pass this information on to our students and what safety protocols they need to take in place if they need to respond to it.
Thank you, Chief Hassel. And I think we should acknowledge that we often get questions from alumni and others about safety issues on campus and how well prepared we are. One of the great things about preparing for incidents on campus is that we don't talk about those preparations publicly to ensure that we're really ready and that people don't know what our responses are going to be. So it's part of the magic that Chief Hassel uses to keep our university safe every day. Chancellor, I want to go back to you for our last question here, because I know there's a lot to say on this one. Someone asked a great question. What are you most proud of in your first year at A&T? Chancellor?
Well, that's easy. Everything starts with student success, the student experience. This year, let's look at graduation, the number of students that graduate, our graduation rate, the experience of those students, the retention of our students this year, 81%. That was an all-time high. What we did with our career fair, we provided more opportunities for people to be employed, all of those types of factors. We are working hard to expand our endowment so that more students can be supported on scholarships. Even things like everyday types of operations. We expanded the shuttle coverage for students to have better experience this year. The housing upgrades we did, not perfect, but we did $30 million of upgrades, as I said, at the beginning of the year to improve the student experience. So all of those things that generate more opportunities for our students And we want to continue to do those things. It's always about student support, student experience to provide the best value. Last thing I'll say is the fact that we still are the most affordable university, doctoral research university in this country, means that we have more opportunity to create access and upward mobility for more people. So those numbers that you saw this year, the 50,275, 13,300 or so were undergraduate students. It means we didn't just set a record for enrollment, we increased the number of people that we can lift up in this world. So who can't be proud of that? Now we just got to make sure that we facilitate their experience here and make sure that they get out on the other end and be able to create impact.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you so much for that. Great way to end. And I think for those of you who haven't been paying close attention, this has been a year of remarkable achievement for North Carolina A&T. We are up in every important metric that is important to measure in higher education. So just know that we are moving things quickly and moving it toward the success that we all want to see for North Carolina A&T. To close us out here, I'm going to throw it to Trustee Stanley to give some closing remarks and finish off our Zoom tonight. Trustee?
If they unmute me.
There we go.
What a fantastic evening. A lot of content, a lot of rich content. Thank all of you for hanging with us. Again, I would say, not only is this a wonderful place and a special place, probably like many of you, A&T changed your lives. And it certainly did for me, but we have so much more to do. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you engaging. We recognize that not every question was answered, but we want to find ways to follow up. So as Crystal said earlier, keep giving us feedback. My promise and commitment to you all is that I will be the best trustee I can, working with alumni relations to make sure you feel heard, engaged, and that you see us make progress. So thanks for hanging out with us again tonight. And if you don't mind, can I get an Aggie Pride?
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
See you all at homecoming. Blessings.
Thank
to
you,
all.
Trustee. And
Thank you.
Crystal, last remarks from you too, please.
We will see you soon. Look for the thank you, Trustee Stanley, and everyone for joining. We will send the
Let's leave
feedback
the
survey
QR code up.
to
Make sure
everyone.
we leave the QR code up.
Yes. So we will share that QR code. So feel free to scan it now, or
That's right.
and we will send it to you via email.
That's right. We had a lot of folks asking about that in the chat earlier, so make sure you get a shot of that before we close out here, and we'll give you plenty of time to do it. But thank you all for taking time this evening to devote an hour and 40 minutes to a town hall. I think we all learned a lot in it, a lot of great information imparted, and we go into homecoming on a real high note because of it. So thank you all.